who is enjoying his role across that half-back line and will be significant. Steve Johnson doesn't often get a hard tag, but what a maturity he's been over the years.
All right, we are set to go. Cracking afternoon into evening for footy. Twilight football action from the Gabba starts with a beautiful bounce, and Dawson Simpson straight into the act. Got the tap down to Joel Corey, who took a long time to release it. Jimmy Bartel back from the States into the thick of it, and Joel Selwood lays a big tackle, and it's rewarded straight away on Rich. So some good intent from the Cats. Selwood sets it up high. Hawkins, who kicked 6 here last year in the pouring rain, gets it to ground. Every which way went Murdoch. Kept everyone guessing, and now we're going to have a bounce.
Well, Papfel had to go on that occasion, but the punch was right back into the corridor. He needed to put a big spall through the behinds, or at least get it towards the boundary line.
As you can see, it's a vacant square. The Cats happened to dribble it on to their boot, which they didn't, but they're set up pretty well. This is what Kingy talked about pre-match. Quick kick in from Mackie to the square, and just out of the outstretched hands of Tom Hawkins.
Yeah, good press up by the Cats there. A nice bit of reading by Andrew Mackie, and it's clear that they think they've got an advantage deep. They've got Hawkins, they've got the J-Pod down there. I think they want to give them every opportunity to get it in deep and to get them at least to compete or take a mark.
Yes, Blitzarve starting in the forward half as well, Gerard, so there's plenty of height, isn't there?
Well, I think it's a key strategy coming in, and as you said, it is perfect conditions for taking pack marks.
Well, Simpson got into it but couldn't take the mark.
Gee, there's 2 overhead tackles. Surely one's going to be paid.
And one is paid, and it goes to Joel Selwood. Quick to move it on to Steve Johnson. Off the left, setting it, it's 1-on-1. It's Merritt and the wrestle with Hawkins. Holding Geelong.
Oh. Well, he was pretty close to it, the umpires. It'll be really interesting to see how it comes up. Daniel Merritt will be perplexed. We know that's about the only certainty.
We'll have a look again, because Tom Hawkins seemed to turn away from the flight of the ball as well. So we'll see if he keeps his head turned with his eyes focused on the ball.
It was an unusual one, as you said, though, Jono, because it was Hawkins that was looking away from the ball and looking at his goal.
Right there, don't go in.
The umpire had a perfect view of it.
29-7 this year for Tom Hawkins. So accuracy has not been an issue, the issue that it was in the past. And this is for his 199th goal in AFL football. You can chalk it up.
And good representation by the Cats fans here, Jono. There's plenty, obviously, of used the opportunity to come up to the Gold Coast. Let's take a look at that free kick. I think Tom would consider himself reasonably lucky.
Yeah, well, he did keep his eyes on the flight of the ball, so that's what the umpires look towards as well. But Merritt has some argument there, shakes their head in disappointment. Back into the lineup today, 1 goal already against his name.
Right to go, boys.
So the Cats with the first of the afternoon. Brisbane have put a fair bit of talent in their forward line as well. Pearce Hanley starting up in their forward half, along with the 200-gamer McGrath, and of course Brown and Lyle. But they're not seeing a lot of action so far. It's all Geelong. Steve Johnson decided to handball to Mitch Duncan. A low flight ball for Hawkins again. The powerhouse doesn't mark it, but his work was pretty good on the ground level. Well done, Patful, to get the fist in. Yo off to Merritt.
Geez, the pressure at Geelong really superb in this early part of the game. They just cannot get the ball here, the Lions.
Steve Johnson with one of his trademark look-away handballs. Unfortunately for him, it went straight to the Lions. Look at the energy from Motlop. That was, well, I would have thought close to being holding the ball. Brilliant run-down tackle. Dawson Simpson follows up hard. Now Clark, who's shown a bit, goes in, but he too stripped of it. Blitzarves really panics for a young player, very new in the game. Mackie with a thumping kick. What a start from Geelong.
They're on fire, Gerard, but it was 2 young players with the tackles. Motlop with the first run-down tackle on Simon Black, and then it was Duncan who was involved here with a big tackle on Clark. Ball spills out, Blitzarves with some composure, and Mackie with the long goal.
Stay tuned, folks. The Cats are on, and when they're on, they are worth travelling thousands of miles to watch. And if you can't, just sit back and watch it on the screen in front of you.
Sorry, lads. One hold, boys. Arms down.
Well, guys, we talk about Dawson Simpson at the start of the game with Chris Scott, and is this a great opportunity for him to put his hand up going into the back end of the season, and already he's got 2 great centre bounce clearance tap outs.
And another against Leuenberger, of course, who re-signed during the week. Quick kick from Kelly. Talk about pressure being applied onto the Brisbane backline. Murdoch, here's Rich, showing some real good leadership. Got on top of the footy, got it moving quickly. Golby from Black, out to Doherty on the half-back line for the Lions. It's a low ball. They need to win it. Just a little bit of footy, get some confidence. Lyle, 3 goals last week, a little bit slow to react, but at least he kept it in Brisbane hands. Cats tackling, pressure has been fierce and intense so far. Off half-back Taylor Hunt. And Enright, one of the most consistent players probably ever to play the game.
That was a difficult mark, actually. That ball moved metres.
He had the floater going.
Usually it's in the centre square when that happens at this ground.
Bit of Glenn McGrath action.
That's right.
Or maybe Damien Fleming. Back to the middle. Under pressure the Lions, as we said so far, but starting to handle the ball well now. Rich was able to dab it short. Build-up continues. Adcock. And Lyle in great shape to mark. It was only just there, but it's a mark.
Oh, definitely a mark. And quite clearly you can see who the danger man is, Jono, for the Brisbane Lions. It's Daniel Rich off that half-back. He won his own ball about a minute or so ago, and this time he's on the end of it. But when he gets it, something happens. A good kick and well spotted by Jed Adcock.
Smart use as well from Rich when you think that Brisbane defenders would have gone back thinking this ball's going to go long. Initially, he dropped the eyes and hit the short target. So therefore, if he can get that right with the long and short today, he'll keep them guessing all day long.
Jordan Lyle kicked the first goal of the game last week and the last after the siren. Kicked 3 for the day and has shown some real promise. And he rams that through. Important settler for the Lions at home.
Well, that's exactly what they needed, and now they'll go back, and if they can get the next one, then all of a sudden we find out whether the exuberance of the Cats, Jono, has been manufactured or whether it's deep-seated, because they've come out and absolutely dominated this game up until that last passage of play. And it was a good passage of play. The game opened up for them. They went straight down the middle. Lyle crisscrossed with Jonathan Brown, and importantly, he delivered.
So there you go. There's modern footy for you. The 2 blokes that caused the goal, Rich and Lyle, off.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It did appear as Jordan Murdoch was his man, and he was going to have to watch him like a hawk. But we'll find out what happens when he's back on the ground.
Well, they've got to sort these centre clearances out. This is better from the Lions. You don't have to win the tap, but you've got to get that possession and get it out.
It was Leicester that got them into 50. And now it's Bartel.
Yeah, mate, got it.
Fresh from some playoff action in the NBA. Oh.
Just reset, Mark, you're right on now. Let him round.
Sorko followed Kelly through, so
okay.
it wasn't 50.
You.
Bartel back to the centre of the ground, so it's direct route for the Cats. Big presence in the air from Leuenberger.
Let him go back. 50.
Well, I don't think Joel Corey's got much to complain about, really. It was a bit odd.
No, he grabbed, and Leuenberger, I think, at that stage didn't think he would be claimed the mark.
Maybe.
He claimed the mark. The umpire did want him to let go. Held on for that split second. The umpire pings him.
I think you'll find, boys, he did maybe feign a handball to play on, but until the umpire calls it, as we know, it's not play on.
Well, the explanation was spot on from the umpire. Then you weren't in the marking contest. You can't claim him.
So Leuenberger, 7 goals, 4 to his name. Kicked a bag of 3 against Melbourne early in the year. And that one is mighty close.
Hell of a kick, though, for a big bloke. That's a major roost. Looked like he was coming back. And the crowd behind the goals thought so. They were ready to explode.
Josh Hunt been back for a month for the Cats. Still finding his feet, but has started to look like it in the last couple of weeks. Thumping kick. Johnson has to go in the air against Patfull. Brought it to ground.
They've got the slingshot ready. They've pushed their tools up the ground. And they've got Motlop ready to go one-on-one straight to goal.
Good circling work by the Lions. Wouldn't let the Cats out. But there's the fend-off high.
And a fair decision by the umpire. He came in legitimately, Selwood, and the elbow went up from Big Daniel Merritt.
Steve Johnson let the traffic go one way, and of course he went the other. And down it goes to full forward. Duncan or Blitzars were the Cats' best chances. Leuenberger has to be everywhere. Merritt. Oh, he turned at just the right moment there. Fumble. There's never a good moment for that, but the last line can be treacherous. Quick kick, Adcock. Back to half back. Staker had to work hard against Hunt. Steve Johnson there ready to take.
Oh, good kick.
Was Zorko to centre half forward. McGrath, the milestone man. And he certainly left Hunt in his wake, and he can go. And what a way to start a milestone. Then a bounce, and goal.
Open forward line once again for the Brisbane Lions. That break off half back, and the ball hit the deck, and McGrath was first to respond. They get away with one here. Merritt strong in the tackle, Jared, and then it was clean use after this from Golby to get that clean use back through the corridor of the ground, and in the end it was McGrath here. We'll see on screen take on Lonigan and run in and kick a huge barrel into the third tier.
So stay tuned, folks. The Cats are on, but so too are the Brisbane Lions.
Yes.
2 goals apiece, which means one thing, Anthony. We've got the close one.
Well, we have, Jared, and we've got the nice weather too. I know it's belting down over in Perth, but beautiful conditions here. Mackie, skyscraper. Duncan stays
nice
down.
punch from Rich.
And Rich having an impact as we've seen so far, and Zorko well up the ground again. So there's lots of room to manoeuvre in the forward line. Brown not quite. Hunt goes to ground.
McGrath just rushed that one then on that occasion. He just needs to stand over Hunt, make him at least dribble the ball out, or he would have been pinked for holding the ball. He did need to dive in on Josh Hunt on that occasion.
Stokes off to Kelly, to half forward Hawkins. Didn't engage the body. Now Steve Motlop. Couldn't get the run of it. And the ball goes into one of the young boys watching on there, I think. A bit of an apology from Steve Motlop. He's caught one, the kid, I think. You know, he thinks something's funny anyway.
His mates are laughing anyway.
There's the free kick count. 6 to Geelong, none to Brisbane. It's early stage. Oh, Simon Black still doing it after all these years. Motlop, Yo, back to Black. Staker. Black again. Doherty manhandled. No, said the umpire. Motlop set to go again. Corey dabs to the 50. And the Cat skipper Joel Selwood has started in impressive fashion to the top of the goal square. And it's a behind. Interesting that Andrew Rains not chosen for Brisbane today. He would have been the logical choice to tag Selwood, but it doesn't look like they've gone for any real hard tags, Jared.
No, we spoke to Vossi, and he talked about the balance of giving some younger players experience and keeping the old guys going.
Here's Daniel Rich again. Through the middle. Hanley first, then Rich. Getting into a dangerous position, and what a kick! Boom! It's through, and the Lions are in front.
Well, what a comeback by the Brisbane Lions. It looked like it was going to be a Tom Hawkins goal again. Here's the free kick that could well have been paid. All the crowd went up. There it is there, in fact. And they are ready to explode, the Brisbane Lions supporters here. They think they're getting a really bad deal from the umpires. So stay tuned for
through the corridor again,
the next one. Straight down the middle from Daniel Rich, and good shepherding there as well from the great Zorko. So the question, Jono, is does Chris Scott react to the influence of Daniel Rich across that half-back line and start thinking about who's going to play a negative half-forward role on him?
Yeah, he has to, especially with the use at the moment going forward.
Talk about use out of the middle, though. An armchair ride by Dawson Simpson to Corey. Hawkins just not been able to cling on to the grabs thus far, so some credit to Merritt, even though he has given away the one free kick. And here's Rich again. Oh, whack! Steve Johnson has cleaned up Pierce Hanley, and the ball's gone Geelong's way through Stokes and away on the full.
Well, a couple of issues. They have got to sort out the centre clearances because Dawson Simpson is absolutely dominating. Let's take a look at this big bump. And it was a serious blow. Let's see whether it's to the head or not. It does look as if there is some contact, so that will be looked at closely through the week.
Take your time. Yeah, but he's right in the flight of the ball. Easy, it was a fair bump, boys.
Not well.
Easy. Yep, play on now, mate.
State the obvious, but they're going to play on now because he's been able to walk from the ground. Move it on now. Play on. So Merritt hoping for Leuenberger. Good manoeuvring of the body to get into the position. Redden, Black, a handful in there for the Cats. Steve Johnson came through, just prodded it out to Bartel. The stand start. Hawkins and Merritt have attracted a lot of the footy so far. Murdoch, Golby wraps him up.
Jordan.
And there's Pierce Hanley just recovering from that hit from Steve Johnson and was responding okay to the doctor.
Simpson got it down again. This time, though, Staker. The Cats have got the one back. So there's Mackie, who's free for Geelong. It's a matter of who's going to do the most damage, I guess. Mackie, high ball. Again, it's Merritt and Hawkins. Again, there was some good assistance. Stokes, what a season he's had. Scampering after it. Got Motlop with him in tow. And there he is. Steve Motlop. Skimming pass. Oh, Steve Johnson would have taken that, you think, 9.5 times out of 10. Motlop has to try and generate something else. Maloney closed in, and Yo knew exactly where the boundary was and found it. So good defensive pressure here.
Yeah, pressure's been very good. Both sides have settled right into this game. It's high-paced at the moment, but Geelong's pressure forward of centre has been excellent to start with.
Simpson, not sure if you call that a hit out so much as a head out. The ball goes back out to a one-on-one. Hunt brought it to ground. Stokes. Christensen looking for a free, doesn't get it.
You got young Sam Mays playing on Andrew Mackie. He probably thinks that Mackie's playing on him and or Corey Enright. But when you're playing on guns like that, you've got to be very careful they don't kill you on the counter-attack. Ryan Lester also looks like he's running with Mackie. He's pushing forward hard.
Corey to Enright to Bartel. They've sorted out the winning of the football, but this extra Brisbane player is causing them some problems at the moment. It's Patfull now, and there is Brown. They can launch off half-back with some real purpose. Doherty through centre-half forward into open country, and it's Enright there first. Rockcliffe in hot pursuit, but Enright just knows his way around, and he finds Bartel scooting hard on the wing. A couple of options for Geelong, one of them Murdoch. Johnson, better watch out. Rich was ready to close.
He's up and about, Daniel Rich, Jono.
No doubt about that.
That's what he needs to do as the spare. He needs to work a way to cut the ball off as well as be attracted through the corridor to use it by foot going forward. 2 Cats to 1, but they weren't really able to synchronise their plans there. And Rockcliffe got it going towards goal, but Leuenberger just couldn't clamp it when it mattered. Taylor Hunt. Tough mark for Podsiadly. Excellent grab.
That strength and experience on young Clark.
Well, they're the hardest marks to take when you're running absolutely flat out. You don't get time to balance, and that was a really good conversion.
Prepared to loft it up to the wing. Well done, Black. And there's a free to Brisbane.
Wait for it.
Advantage taken by Brown, but it didn't turn out to be an advantage. Tough for Bartel. They're prepared to kick into the middle, and we know that with Geelong.
Mackie's pushing hard forward here. He is ready to go.
Got a second crack at it. And Guthrie has a long time to work out what to do with it, and he doesn't. Oh, he went for the big Cats in the gully, and I think they'd be pretty disappointed with that, Geelong.
Well, Mackie worked hard, as you said, right across the
150 metres.
middle
But you
of the
know
ground.
what he didn't do, Jono? He didn't gesticulate. He didn't show his disappointment. And at times, I think when you've got a young player who's made a mistake, it's a discipline that makes a difference from senior players.
And umpire's going to call for a bounce. So I think that is one thing that Geelong have been good at. The way young players come into the club, the way they're treated by the Geelong senior players.
Well, Guthrie's also playing deep defence, so he busted his boiler as well, Jono, to get up there. So they just put that one down to the rub of the green.
Goal be able to probe it out. Tough for Staker, but they've done well. The Lions again, Redden, and they're on their way. Zorko. Weighted kick for Hanley. Great to see. He seems to have made a recovery. And Moons, you're in a great position there. Was that out of bounds or not?
I thought he was a little bit stiff there, Hanley. I thought he kept it. I thought he did a pretty good job. But we're talking about Rich and Mackie at the moment. They're both playing that spare man role for each team. And Rich has had the 8 possessions and the 1 goal. Mackie the 4 possessions and the 1 goal. But what we're now seeing is Mackie, as you called it, Jared, starting to be a little bit smarter, starting to be a little bit more proactive and push forward to try and make either Rich go to him or, like we saw then, get free inside 50 and hopefully get a shot on goal.
Adcock, brilliantly read again by Selwood. He is playing a slashing game. Now, Hawkins not that well positioned to have the shot, hence the handball, the extra one to Murdoch. Had to wait longer than he wanted to. Bit of a fumble, Golby. And the Cats started well, but they're just not as clean as they were when the whistle first went this afternoon. And the opening siren, and Murdoch's gone.
Well, Patfull started that chain for the Brisbane Lions when Selwood gave the handball over the top to Hawkins. He was the one who closed up first, came off his man. The next player came up and helped out, and they were able to cause the ball to head out towards the boundary line. And a great tackle in the end from Golby.
Murdoch arguing that it was high. The umpire disagreed. So the Lions leading here by 5. Been a high-energy start to this game at the Gabba. Twilight footy, well guided for Simon Black. Shake of the head from Mitch Duncan.
Go, Mitch. Move it on.
Lyle was a long target, but much shorter than that. Jack Redden.
Move it on.
Pretty solid season. Comes off a 24 disposal game. That's round about his average, just under.
Play on.
Always lays lots of tackles. Just Jack Redden, a good team man. There's Jonathan Brown.
This is a really entertaining start, John. We could come here and say that it's, you know, Brisbane are in this because Geelong are flat off the bye, but that's not the case. Geelong are having a red-hot crack. This is an impressive effort to come back like this, Brisbane.
Play on.
Yep, they are up for the challenge, that's for sure. Enright, the touch, and there he is. Positioned in the perfect spot, Daniel Rich.
He just pulls out the one wood. He probably should have had the little wedge. Jed Adcock was definitely keen for the short kick to set up an open shot at goal. But I reckon when the adrenaline's running and he's been in red-hot form, you just let him go.
Let him go.
That's a fair call. Taylor, Stevie J, look at him just creeping behind, looking for an extra possession. Down the line goes the kick. Dawson Simpson gets there for Geelong. Blitzarve as well, but the ground crew, certainly the numbers were with Brisbane initially, and that's the way it turns out. Adcock was able to set it up, and Hanley, spearing ball, clean bowled a lot. Steve Johnson prowling back along the last line.
He's got an excuse, Hanley.
For Bartel, yeah, that's a good point.
Yep. Play on.
Kelly wasn't sure who that was meant for. He was taking no chances.
Two big blokes, one-on-one, and the J-Pod has worked really hard. He's up against a really inexperienced kid.
Who did well, Clark, to get something to the ball now. He's on his wrong side, J-Pod. He was able to work the angles, working. He overworked it. And he almost had time to actually straighten in the end.
Well, the result wasn't great, but the movement was good. And that's what Chris Scott will be looking for over and above goals. Just to see the J-Pod come and get back to his very best form. He started pretty well. That one obviously could have been a goal. He just probably hit the end of the ball a little bit too much and hit it a bit sharply. 17
goals for the year for Rich, very close to J-Pod to be playing on. 17 goals for the year. Kicked 5 in that last game against the Giants, including 4 in the third quarter. Simon Black's proving a menace. That's his 9th disposal, and he's been so creative as he always is. Hanley.
Good effort to get back.
Kept a few at bay. Kicks for Redden, didn't do him a lot of favours. Succumbs to the inevitable, and it's out of bounds.
Looking at the champion data rankings on the way up in the plane, Jono, it's Hanley who's the #1 player for the Brisbane Lions. He's been a fantastic story and a great recruit.
Rockcliffe, McGrath, already with 1 to the name. That time Josh Hunt runs around it a little bit and needs support. Got it from Bartel. There's Enright again.
Hold there. Thanks, Dane.
His 5th disposal, crafted out for Bartel.
Right there. Thank you.
Just pops up anywhere on the ground, Jimmy Bartel. Anywhere where he's needed. That wasn't a great kick, though. McGrath.
Moons, Daniel Merritt on the bench. Is that just rotation, getting a bit of a rest into the legs, or is there another issue?
No, mate, just right now, I just think it's rotation at the moment. He's sitting down on the chair, so he's not at the back getting looked at. He's just there having a rest, mate.
Steve Johnson, did he take him on?
Came out of the tackle, boys.
Yeah, it is interesting, Jared, isn't it? Because Hawkins is still on the ground.
He's having a chuckle then because Steve Johnson was punching nothing.
Maloney doing what he does best, winning the clearance and getting it in there, causing some havoc. Young Mays feeling the tackling pressure from the Cats, and will have another throw up.
Daniel Rich is enjoying this. He is just floating along, doing Not a hell of a lot. In fact, it looks like Cam Guthrie might have been pushed down to pick him up, and now Guthrie's going up to the contest.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Jared, to answer your own question about Rich. Do you think they have to do something?
Well, if he keeps dominating, I guess they're going to. Otherwise, they're going to back in the likes of Enright or Mackey, who will inevitably get free themselves against him. But he is launching plenty.
Oh, there's Blitzarves again. Couldn't shake the tackle. Oh, he's lucky, isn't he?
Yeah, we had 2 calls there from the 2 different umpires, but they got it right in the end.
It wasn't even his free, was it? I thought it was Blitzarves' free. Quick kick goes inside 50. Stokes to Enright from either end of the ground, and there's a short pass to Guthrie.
Well, I think Guthrie was the bloke who was pushing up onto Rich. But I thought you're right. I think it was Blitzarves that got taken high, Hutto.
Yep.
To me, Jared, I think you start looking at maybe a Jimmy Bartell or a Matty Stokes who go and stand on it, and someone who can lead on Rich, make him work as a defender first. Then if he gets those kicks, then so be it.
Nicely caressed through by Guthrie to give Geelong back the lead at the Gabba.
Good response by the Cats. I think he'd be reluctant moves to move Bartell. He's making a statement here about next year's trip to the USA. Yeah. He wants to go again. He's had 9 possessions in this first term at 71%. He's had a couple of inside 50s, and well, we know that when he gets the ball, things happen. But we'll just take a closer look at what they're doing with Guthrie, Jono, and just see whether or not he does get a long-term role on Rich.
Rich has gone back to the bench at the moment for the Lions. So
Guthrie's gone back to the back pocket.
And Merritt's back on too, boys.
So the Cats lead by 1. Entertaining opening quarter at the Gabba. Hope you're enjoying the action late on a Sunday afternoon. Joel Selwood with the release to Enright, who did as much as he could do then, which was jam it on the boot. But there's lines everywhere. They were ready for it. Unfortunately, the footy eluded Simon Black initially, and then he was caught by Steve Johnson.
Great tackle from Stephen Johnson. Unusual for unusual for Black to be caught unawares.
It was, and Johnson almost suffered the same fate. Kick from Enright, brilliant for Bartell. He was gone on the left foot. Realised how hard it was going to be, and that's a beautifully weighted kick. And he finds Alan Christensen on a slight angle, and as you can see, very much within scoring range.
Well, they're pretty keen to notch up a win. Chris Scott was determined at the start of the game that they finish the first quarter in front. And they really did blow it themselves. They had half a dozen people on the centre wing. The ball bobbled. Simon Black lost a track of where it was, and the turnover results in a goal.
Well, Brisbane had all the numbers, you're right, Jared, and because Geelong's midfielders actually went the other way, because the handball came out from Selwood in the middle of the ground, and Enright kicked it to the commentary side here, this wing. All the other Geelong midfielders started to run the other way. So they had to get numbers over, and in the end their work rate ended up working in their favour, and on the back of some power running. And you see Bartell here. Christensen was up with the ball as well, and he flowed back in with the flight of the ball and found space all by himself inside forward 50.
So where have the goals come from today, you ask? Geelong with 4-3 and Brisbane with 3-2, and all Geelongs have come from turnovers. Brisbane, of course, going the full journey from a kick in.
Oh, good hands.
Oh, they're looking to build again, Geelong. Duncan had to wait just a moment. Christensen with the last, and maybe the next as well. That was a lot better. What a cracking goal. What an entertainment feast we're seeing.
Well, Geelong have not won clearances as often as they would like, but they're a bit like the West Coast Eagles at times. When they win clearances and centre clearances, they win them so well that they generally score a lot, and you just see those players keeping their width, not getting sucked into the contest. They rely on players inside to win it inside, and always have players on the outside running the lanes, and that's a really good goal.
Well, I spoke before about who do you put on Rich, and Matty Stokes was the one that started in front of him then, Jared, and that's what I kind of want. There's no one on him right now, but this is what I want. I want someone who works up the ground, leads, who can be used as a forward target and a marking target. Make him play as a defender. Don't let him have the game on his terms.
Selwood again out of the middle. It was Murdoch that got the ball to boot, and tackle from Podziadli on Staker. Umpire lets it pass, but Geelong now win the footy through Duncan. You heard the call touched, and Brisbane able to win it back. Clark, which didn't really help Adcock's cause at all. They need to work out who's right. Well, it is effectively, isn't it? A handoff. Back to the wing goes Yo's kick.
They're probably watching the wrong game last night, Hutto.
Back on the wing, Harry Taylor takes on 2. Still found a way to get it to Taylor Hunt. Easy relieving mark in the end for Clark. Justin Clark is 19 years of age. A little bit of high contact there. Bartel maybe arguing he got the ball.
Slows things down, though. They were away then, the Brisbane Lions, giving away that free kick. Slows them up, allows the Cats to defensively set up across the ground.
Joel Patfull. Brown just dispatched with Guthrie.
Oh, well played.
It was along the line from Mays. And it gets to a man too, Rockcliffe. He was handcuffed, though. There was no getting out of there. Lonigan, slight fumble from Hunt. 28 seconds. That's enough for Brisbane, perhaps.
Been really impressed with Geelong's tackling tonight. We've seen a number of the deep forwards make tackles from behind. Motlop was one. Podge was another. Steve Johnson was another. We saw Mackie take one there. Their tackle numbers are pretty impressive.
As was that mark from Guthrie. Quick to release the kick too to Steve Johnson. Got Enright running to the outer side. Careful kick. 8 seconds. You'd think that's not enough for the Cats. Even at their brilliant best to be able to get it from half back into the scoring area. So they have to be satisfied with a 13-point lead. And I think obviously Brisbane would rather be in a better position. But for the neutral viewers, it's entertaining footy. And the Brisbane Lions are right in this contest. They're giving it their best. The Cats lead, though, by 13 points.